sure hope that y'all have returned. It's very awkward not being able to tell with OBS who is here and who isn't. If you are here, and if you can hear my voice, input the seed. Seed for this first set is 1 Delta Bravo 5 6 2. Refresh streams just to make sure I'm good. Oh, silly me, but also help if you... I'm also just watching y'all's streams on a separate device, just in case my OBS messes up. So if you hear me talking like a mad person, that's probably why. 1DB562. Alright. We are starting on level 12. Both players are on the correct seed, just waiting for readies. But of course, take your time. Alright, both players ready. Not sure if you heard in my last stream, or if you've had me as a restreamer before. Wait until Tetris appears in your chat before going. Don't wait until you hear me say Tetris. That being said, 3, 2, 1, Tetris. Sorry, I turned off my mic to eat some bacon, and then I quickly realized I have to massively reset the layout. Give me one quick second. Both players appear to be starting out very well so far. Ethan getting up a bit high there. Ooh, Ethan cannot get pieces over. Tops out at 18-9. Kocchira, with this exact score, you are good. You literally just need to score again in order to break the tie. Nice. Kocchira takes game number 1. I have never seen an experience quite like that where players had to just score again to win off of an exact tie. Ethan says 12 start. Pushdown points matters. Seed goes up to 2E, by the way. Alright, 12 start. Both players ready. Let's count down game number 2. In 3, 2, 1, Tetris. Both players off. I'm going to do some more surgery on my layout to make it not look gross and off-putting. Attempt to separate the next bar and the level bar, but it's a bit too much work. just have to do. Alright, I think we are good now. Ooh, kocchira cannot use that lumbar efficiently. Has a very uncomfortable well to dig out of here. Meanwhile, Ethan setting up almost Tetris ready. Nice adjustment of that lumbar for that S-piece. kocchira able to dig out of it, gets the lumbar over to the right side, slams down, and Tetris goes to 35,000. Ethan getting the well open, slams down, and Tetris of their own goes to 67,000. Both players' boards now looking very clean, able to use all the lumbars that come for Tetrises. Tetris for Ethan goes up to 114, kocchira at 53,000. Lumbar gets them, takes them over to 69,000. kocchira, though behind in lines, though behind in score, is behind in lines. By no means is it a runaway. Though I say that, both players in a bit of a dig situation. kocchira in a slightly more unfavorable one. Tops out at 70,000. Ethan, you are good for game number 2 at 121,000. What was a game of 5 is now a game of 3. Seed goes to 3F. And after, we will cycle back to 4-0. Alright, ready for both players. Let's get game 3 underway. 3, 2, 1, Tetris. Both players doing very well to use these quite disgusting pieces to build their boards out, but they are both lumbar dependent to get a Tetris. Ethan completely forgoes the lumbar dependency, slams down the first lumbar that comes for a Tetris. kocchira following suit with a nice, LP skim. kocchira with a perfect sequence of pieces to get Tetris ready again, goes to 32,000. Ethan up at 47,000 off that Tetris. Ethan gets the T-spin. Opens the well up, waiting on a long bar. Lumbar comes, lumbar over, slams down, it goes to 65,000. kocchira with a Tetris of their own goes to 47,000. Tetris for Ethan goes up to 112. kocchira with a Tetris of their own goes to 59,000. Ooh, double lumbar, and kocchira can't use either of them. Ethan having to cover up their well with a bit of weight on top of it. Forgoes the flatline burn there, opts to just build that side out. Kocchira fills in that J dependency. Looking to transfer that well over. Meanwhile, Ethan slams down a Tetris, goes to 146. Kocchira down by 30,000, but also 10 behind in lines. Ethan slams down another Tetris for 162. Ethan playing very aggressively now. Tetris goes up to 178. Kocchira Tetris goes up to 129. Ethan just over halfway to transition. Kocchira at 40 lines. Still the majority of lines left to go. Ethan with a bit of a chasm there. Ooh, Kocchira nice with that L tuck. Sets up, gets a Tetris. Goes up to 146. Closing the gap on Ethan, who is having to take a bit of a dig now. As a mighty high side build up. Gets the wall open though. Kocchira with a nice tuck. Both players waiting on a lumbar. Ethan gets it open, goes to 201. Kocchira lumbar over for 161. Ethan about 3/4 of the way to transition. Slams down another Tetris. Kocchira following Tetris of their own goes to 177. Is 16 lines behind Ethan and only 2 Tetrises behind in score. So still has a lot of ground that they can make up. Ethan having to hunt down a fossil in their board. Meanwhile, Kocchira, their board is clean as a whistle. Needs an L piece for that dependency. Fills it in, gets Tetris ready, slams it down, goes to 238. Kocchira at 193, waiting for a lumbar of their own. Lumbar comes, Kocchira takes it, goes up to 209 at 64 lines. Ethan now 9 lines from transition at 239. Kocchira still only 2/3 to transition. Ethan can get 2 more Tetrises here. Knocks it down to 1 more. Ethan ready, waiting for... Won't take the... sets up dirty if they can get a long bar. Suffering a massive drought. Almost has to cover the well, but that does not set them up for a good 15-speed transition at 273. Kocchira at 240 and is still only on 12 speeds. Still has 20 or so lines till transition. Kocchira slams the Tetris, goes to 256. Ethan dirty Tetris goes to 294 on to 14. Has 50 more lines before level 19. Kocchira sets up knockdown and Tetris goes to 272. Ethan at 313. Both players just patiently setting other boards. Ethan gets a long bar over, goes to 333. Kocchira, 20 lines to transition, slams down a long bar Tetris for 288. Ethan getting perfect pieces to resolve holes in their stack. Gets a long bar over, goes to 353. Kocchira, 10 lines till 15 speeds transitions at 303. Ethan on to 16. Kocchira patiently waiting out how their stack will build up. Gets a lumbar over. Can get 3 more Tetrises, I believe. Only about 60,000 points behind. Ethan up to 378. Kocchira at 319. Ethan lumbar over goes to 399. Another Tetris goes to 421. Kocchira 5 lines to transition. Gets a lumbar over at 335. Can set up for 1 more transition before one more Tetris before transition. Ethan at 443 is Tetris ready again. Lumbar over goes to 465. Kocchira transitions into 15 speeds at 336. Still 53 lines behind in pace. Such a long runway available. If Brian were playing just a hair bit inefficiently, this would be a piece of cake for Kocchira, but however, Ethan, as of this couple pieces, has had a perfect board, tops out at 468. Kocchira, you are in a massive chase down for 469. 469. You are at 357. Kocchira currently 40 lines before Ethan's pace. That's the debt down to 110,000. Is Tetris ready, waiting for a long bar? Long bar comes, gets it over, goes to 395. Ooh. Needs to get something to fill in that Z dependency. S will not do it. Doesn't take the long bar. Second long bar comes, but now a massive long bar dependency in the middle. Gets filled, but keeps another one. Burns it out with 2 L pieces. Gets the well open at 404. Long bar over goes to 425, transitions into level 16 at 425, needs 469. Skims off. Doesn't decide to go for the triple, instead takes the Tetris, goes up to 447. Takes the skim. Long bar over. Is Tetris ready? Long bar over. Goes to 470 and will take the game. What a chase down from Kocchira here for game number 3. GG's, both players. That was amazing. Beautiful, beautiful chase down. Alright, Ethan, you have piece level select. Looks like we're starting on 12. You're fine. I think it's safe to assume that 12 is everybody's favorite for level select. I've only done a 15 once in comp, and the person I did it against immediately vetoed it. Alright, party from both players on the correct seed. Let's get game number 4 underway in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. Kocchira gets a long bar over, gets the first Tetris of the match. Ethan in quick succession. Ethan with a bit more points due to the burns that they had to do, but we are still at the very beginning of what is to be a long match between these two. Ethan getting up high. Kocchira gets Tetris, goes to 35,000. Ethan with a long bar Tetris of their own goes to 37. Ethan, 2 Tetrises in very quick succession, goes to 70,000. Kocchira with a T skim to get Tetris ready. Gets that long bar over, goes to 53,000. Ethan now needing an L for that dependency. Switches over to a J dependency. Fills it with an S, but has a lot of weight over their wall that they'll need to burn down. Meanwhile, Kocchira sets up and his Tetris ready. Lombard over, slams down, and Tetris goes to 69,000. Ooh, Ethan with an interesting stacking of that T piece. I'm not sure if it was intentional or not. Kocchira still with a flat board, waiting on a Lombard to come. Ethan getting that weight taken off of that hole and gets the Lombard for a Tetris goes to 95,000. Kocchira, however, follows up, goes to 86,000 off of a Tetris of their own. Ethan now 15 lines ahead in pace just because of all of the burning they had to do just now. Both players, though, getting a Tetris in quick succession to each other. Ethan halfway to transition, Kocchira only a third of the way there. Has a very, very hazardous 3-wide chasm here. They're filling up very nicely, but having to leave some holes. Meanwhile, Kocchira slams down, it just goes to 118, takes the lead away from Ethan. Ethan with a couple of misplacements here. Couldn't get a Lombard over to the top. Tops out at 112. Kocchira, you are good for game 4 and the set. And a Tetris for good measure. GG's. Great set from both players. Let me rob you of all your hard-earned hearts. And we'll get a new seed going. Very, very letter-filled seed here. Bravo to Charlie Echo, Delta Delta. And Ethan, you have first level select this set. Looks like we are going for 12. Y'all are bronze. 18 starts are allowed, but they are allowed to be vetoed. That is completely fair. I do not blame you. Could, and this is just a possibility, you could be in the middle and do 15. Pink is very cool though. I will never get over being on one of Barrow's streams and having them call 12 colors Pepto-Bismol. I could not keep it together. I was in comp during that time and I could not keep it together after they said that. True, 15 not as fun. Both players ready? Let's count down for game 1 of set 2 in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Kocchira getting the first touches of this round. But Ethan, 2 pieces later, touches of their own. Ethan with a SC or T dependency fills it in with a Z. Kocchira gets that Lombard over, goes to 31,000. Ethan gets Lombard over on their own, goes to 33,000. Ooh, couldn't fill in that dependency, had the wrong parity. Ooh, bit of hesitancy getting that Lombard over, has quite a steeple there in column 3. They'll have to build around it. Meanwhile, Kocchira, their board is pretty textbook, might I say. Sam's Undestructors goes to 63,000. Ethan with a couple of dinosaur fossils down there in their board. In desperate need of a Lombard there to get something. This could be disastrous for Ethan. Needing to get something to clear this out. I don't want to call it too early. They top out at 55,000. Kocchira, you are good for game number 1 at 66,000. That was a brutal seed, in all honesty. Sometimes games can't be blamed on seeds. Sometimes they can. That was definitely a broken seed. Alright, we go up to... oh goodness, what were we at? I forgot where we were at, just increment. I think we should be at C3 now. Yeah, drought management is one of the things that I hate to say but does separate good players from better players. Just being able to recognize when you need to start burning and skimming. Alright. Ready from Ethan. I know, I cannot push down. If I start pushing down, then I start getting selfish. Both players are ready. Kocchira, I see your mouse very frantically waving. Well, if both players are good, let's count down for game 2 of set 2. In 3, 2, 1, Tetris. I think that's a perfect response to the question, are you DAS? I'm anxious. Ethan getting the first Tetris of this game. Goes up to 15. Kocchira. Lombard goes over Tetris ready, goes to 16,000. Ethan having some very interesting setups here. Could be setting up for a column 8 Tetris. Is set up. Their stream is buffering, but looks like they got the Tetris. Still setting up for column 8. Gets a pretty good transfer out of it, must I say. Kocchira Tetris set up 1 row high. It's the Tetris. Couldn't get the quite as efficient wall transfer, but with this Lombard is able to get it back to a right well. Both players trying to get a bit of weight off of their wells. Kocchira waiting out a J piece. I piece uncovers it. Ethan same sanitizer just goes to 73,000. Kocchira at 55. Kocchira, as is the case, behind in lines this game. 13 lines behind. And one has to think is that by virtue of pushdown, by virtue of efficiency of pieces, Kocchira with a T-spin setup right here, decides not to go for it. Lumbar gets some of kocchira's pieces down. Meanwhile, Ethan, not Tetris ready, now is, but at least had a very clean board at 121,000. Has to cover up the well as a Lombard comes. Speaking of wells, kocchira almost done with this dig. Teaspoon opens up the well, waiting on a Lombard. Lombard comes, kocchira gets it over, goes up to 93,000. Ethan at 140, but also 15 lines ahead. Kocchira gets another Lombard over, goes up to 109. Quickly closing the lead in on Ethan, who's had to do a bit of a build-up. Gets Tetris ready with that square. Meanwhile, kocchira slams that another Tetris, goes to 124. Ethan appears to be waiting out a pretty nasty drought. Lombard finally comes. Tetris for Ethan at 159. Kocchira Tetris of their own goes to 140, cutting the lead on Ethan. Ethan gets a Tetris, goes to 176, 20 or so lines before transition. Kocchira just over halfway to transition. Ethan needing something for this left side here. Gets the pieces for it. Kocchira with a nasty Lombard dependency. Had turned it into a J dependency, but couldn't get the pieces. Ooh, good adjustment there to fill that J dependency. Gets the well open. Kocchira needs to get this well open. Gets it open with a Lombard now. Both players... I don't know what I was about to say there. Ethan, 8 lines from transition. Kocchira, 2/3 of the way there. 30,000 separates these players. Ethan fills in a nasty Lombard dependency. Kocchira Tetris goes up to 179. Ethan, Tetris away from transition. Looked to have been building dirty for it, but this will take them over into 15 speeds. Oh, I stand way corrected. They are Tetris set up, but Lombard is playing games with their heart. Transitions over at 202. Lombard finally comes, but as the well is blocked up, meanwhile kocchira at 210, 20 lines from 15 speed transition. Kocchira with the points lead now at 226. Ethan at 204, having to keep the well open, as they are 5 high going into 14. Covers up the well again. A missed tug of that T-piece. That might be it for Ethan. They top out at 208. Kocchira, you are good for game number 2 at 227. Yeah, games from both players. Very good chase down there. Well, I say chase down. It was more of a comeback. Oh. Alright. D4 is the seed. Sticking with our old pal, Pepto 12. We have A ready from both players. Let's count down match point for Kocchira, game number 3, in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. Kocchira nice to avoid getting weight over that dependency, but has to put some over it nonetheless. Meanwhile, Ethan Gets a lumbar over, gets the first Tetris of the round. Is Tetris ready again? Sets up, goes for it, goes up to 33. Kocchira having to do a bit of dig out to get weight off his dependency, but the lumbar helps significantly there. Nice flat lumbar tuck by Ethan. Kocchira having needed something for that overhang, just can't quite get the pieces for it. Ethan Tetris ready. Goes for it, goes up to 55,000. Kocchira at 9,000, having to do a bit of an extended dig. Lumbar will only get them a triple here. Nice tuck there by Ethan. Setting up for when the flat lumbar burn, but gets there well open nonetheless. Ooh, a garbage Mino over column 10. Gets it uncovered. Still waiting on a lumbar here from Ethan. Kocchira getting their stack better managed, but needing to build up that left side as Ethan slams down a Tetris, goes to 104. Another Tetris from Ethan at 120. 3 lumbars in a row sets up Ethan's third Tetris. You don't see that every day. These lumbars are heaven's gift to Ethan. Goes to 151 off of 4 quick Tetrises. Kocchira 20 lines behind, but only at 48,000. Has a bit of ground to make up here. Kocchira sets up, gets a Tetris, goes to 66,000. 100,000 points behind Ethan now. Tetris for Kocchira goes to 82,000. Ooh, uncomfortable hang of the square there. Gets the lumbar though, couldn't get the tuck. Ethan needing something for this left side. Gets a couple good lumbars over to fill in some holes, but still an uncomfortable cheddar cheese situation. Ethan managing well so far. That vertical lumbar is not going to help much though. Able to get a lumbar over to the left side, but ooh, couldn't quite get the L-bar over. 172 is the chase down. Kocchira 172. Kocchira still with 43 lines until transition. That is 10 possible Tetrises, which with perfect efficiency will get them there before a speed change. But of course we've seen how comfortable they are playing on 15. Doesn't have a comfy place for that Z piece. Gets a lumbar over, goes up to 110. Nice pieces here from Kocchira. Getting back down to terra firma here. At 115, still needs about 60,000 to take this game and the set. Is Tetris set up now? Gets that lumbar over, goes up to 131, about 40,000 points away. Sets up, Tetris ready, lumbar, gets it over, goes up to 147, a Looks like a Tetris and some change will do it now. Still 18 lines away from a speed change. Seems like all the time in the world, but of course it's all dependent on how the pieces fall. Good adjustment there, seeing with the square coming, gets Tetris set up, goes to 163. Still 13 more lines to play with. Ooh, a good tuck there. Takes the burn at 164. Ooh, lumbar comes, gets it over. That will do it. Kocchira takes game 3 and the set. Great games. Amazing play there from both players. GG's. Oh. I don't know about y'all, but I am gonna go take a well-needed nap after 2 restreams. Good luck in the rest of y'all's games. I'm gonna stop streaming this soon and report both matches that I just restreamed.